Welcome back to Civil Discourse Now. This is our election prediction edition, part 2. I'm Mark Small, co-host is Paul Ogden, who is making the predictions here. And just as a disclaimer, we are not encouraging anybody to go out and make book on these predictions or wager in any way. This is solely for amusement purposes. District 14, Feaster, King.
Okay, that district is about a 56% Republican district. It could be competitive, but I don't think in this election it will be. I think Marilyn Feaster is going to defeat Maxine King in that race.
Is Feaster the incumbent?
Feaster is the incumbent. Thank you, Mark, for pointing that out. District 16.
Oh, wait. No. I'm doing this. You're not letting me do my job. District 15, Feeney Ruiz, also Lady Capehart.
Okay, this is an open seat in a heavily Democratic district. Bob Ostley, of course, is the former Secretary of State. A.G. Feeney Ruiz, interestingly, works for Secretary of State Charlie White. So it's an interesting race. You got Zach Capehart, Libertarian. It is a heavily Democratic district, and Bob Ostley will win that.
District 16, Bill Bruton, Mayhern.
This is a district fairly heavily Democrat. Brian Mayhern is the incumbent. He should be able to defeat Bill Bruton in that race.
District 17, Whitmore, Moriarty Adams.
This is a district, again, that is fairly solidly Democrat. Occasionally, the Republicans think they might have a shot at it, but in this case, they have a solid incumbent. Mary Moriarty Adams should defeat Gary Whitmore.
District 18, Hetty Brown.
Vernon Brown is the incumbent in District 18, a solidly Democratic district. He shouldn't have any trouble defeating Mike Hetty.
It's right there on the eastern part of the county. District 19, Miller, Mayhern.
District 19 is an interesting district in that it's the only one that is currently held by a Democrat that actually leans Republican. Dane Mayhern is the incumbent, running against Jeff Miller, a strong candidate. I do predict Dane Mayhern incumbency will help him get over the hump and win that race.
District 20, Day, Mascari.
This is a race that's interesting. The district's located in Beech Grove. Susie Day is a Republican. It's a fairly close district, and I'm a little bit surprised the Democrats haven't put more money into it. Frank Mascari is a local businessman in Beech Grove. I think he could upset her, but because the Democrats haven't targeted it, I'm going to give that to the Republicans.
And she is the incumbent?
She is incumbent.
21, Hunter, Woodmansey, Featherstone.
Ben Hunter is a Republican in a district located in Irvington, probably about a 55% Republican district. It is a district that is not completely uncompetitive. Todd Woodmansey is a fellow attorney, very active in Democratic politics. He has a shot at upsetting Ben Hunter in that case. The Libertarian candidate is Josh Featherstone, who actually has a very good blog, by the way, and I'm sure he's a strong candidate. I'm going to give that to Ben Hunter then.
Is he the incumbent?
He is the incumbent.
District 22, Holiday, White.
That is an open seat held currently by Republicans. Jason Holiday is running against the Democrat Doug White, and the Republicans should win that. This is the first district that is in the southern part of the county, and these districts tend to be solidly Republican.
District 23, Cardwell, Coxey, Rossway.
It looks like Racket to me, but I'm not sure that's right. Actually, that might be pronounced wrong. The candidate there, the Republican, solid Republican district. Jeff Cardwell also has a lot of money. He is running against Scott Coxey, who is a pretty active, but he is, I think Cardwell's going to win that fairly easily.
He's the incumbent.
He is incumbent.
District 24, Sandlin, Coleman.
This is an interesting race. 24 is in a district located in Perry Township. Jack Sandlin is the Republican incumbent in that district. He was also Perry Township trustee, got kind of booted out of office. Ed Coleman is a Libertarian. Democrats did not put up a candidate. Ed Coleman's very well funded. He's very active out there, and I think he has a shot at it. But I think on election day, it's really tough for the voters to pull that L lever.
Yeah, but his campaign email, there's no Democratic candidate, and his campaign email is info@melinakennedy.com.
And I apologize for that. I obviously made a mistake in putting this list together.
I got you.
So
That's okay.
well, correct.
District 25, Freeman, Garza, Vale.
That is Aaron Freeman is the incumbent. He's an attorney. He is running against Mario Garza. Kevin Vale, the Libertarian. That should be Freeman should win that easily. It's a heavily Republican district.
At-large seats, Rivera, Malone, Kalshur, Kissel, Adamson, Sissel,
Those are Republicans.
Adamson, Barth, Hickman, Robinson, Levin, Miller, Minor, Cully.
These these candidates all run countywide. They tend to be baseline races, and they tend to don't necessarily. I don't believe they'll necessarily follow the mayor's race. I think there's a possibility that the at-large seats could be won by the Democrats, while the Republican wins the mayor's race.
How many are up?
There are 4 up, and I predict the sweep for the Democrats. I highly doubt the Republicans will sneak in and win any of those seats.
You don't think any of the Libertarians will?
No. If you look at the numbers in 2010, it was 55-45 baseline numbers. In 2008, it was 60-40 in favor of Democrats, 55-45 in 2010. These are baseline races. People go in, they don't know the candidates, they tend to vote their party in this.
Office of Mayor, Ballard, Kennedy, Bowen, Cardellini.
This is a race that I originally thought Kennedy could win fairly easily. The campaign hasn't taken the direction that I thought it would take. I really believe that when you run against an incumbent, it is a referendum on the incumbent. You have to say why this person should not be reelected. And the book they tell you to run positive, run negative, define the incumbent, and then go back to positive at the end of the campaign. Melina Kennedy somewhat has done that. She talked about herself. I don't know that she went necessarily into her background strong enough initially. Start talking about education, which I wouldn't have guessed would be a big issue in the mayor's campaign. But I don't think she's gone strong enough to finding the mayor, talking about specifics like the parking meters, the pacers, insider deals. She talks about that some in her commercials, but she doesn't get specific enough. And now I see that she's back to running positive ads, and he's doing some negative stuff against her. This is an interesting race because we don't have any polling. We have no independent polling
Why is
in
that?
this race. Polls have gotten more expensive. Newspapers are struggling so they don't want to pay for them. Polling has become more difficult because you can't call people at home anymore.
Cell
Have
phones.
to pick up the phone. Right, they have a cell phone. So I think this race, I would have given Ballard about a 35% chance, 30% chance 2 months ago. I give him about 45% chance now. I think Kennedy is going to pull it out. It's a Democratic county, and you can't forget that fact. And I think the recent story about Lightbox is an issue that doesn't help the mayor at the last minute.
I thought that was a brilliant idea that guy came up with, of having like mobile semi-truck size video screens that you could basically have drive-in theaters mobile around all over the place, and that's how they could sell enough of those to have 3 shifts of 300 people working. I mean, it made complete sense to me. I mean, look at how many drive-in theaters we have today, and it would just really augment that aspect of our entertainment industry.
Now, this is the part of the show that you may want to point out there. You're being sarcastic.
I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, 'cause the guy, okay, The guy proposed this. They came up with this guy from someplace, like in California or something. He doesn't have a corporation that anybody can really identify. Said he had a couple $100 million in financing for it, and wouldn't identify as financiers. And then at the news conference said it was him. He was the one that's doing it. And who would want to have semi-sized screens, video screens? I mean, you can't set them up outside Lucas Oil for the Super Bowl because the NFL has control of that. You can't really show them for anything. I mean, unless you were to have drive-in theaters, and nobody does that anymore.
Well, I heard part of the explanation was that if you can't get into a stadium to watch a game, you can watch on this big screen. But as you said, there are copyright problems with that.
Yeah, and besides, those stadiums will already have done that. And there are only so many stadiums in the United States. I mean, it's not enough that you've got 300 people on 3 shifts working to make them. That's just silly.
Right, right. So I think that's a problem. The Kennedy campaign, though, I don't know has been strong enough pointing that out, that is a, not just that issue, but other issues, like Ballard, when it comes to the public safety director, Frank Straub. Frank Straub will be saying things in the media about, well, we're going to hire more minorities, or we're going to do this, and then they'll go to Ballard and he won't know anything about it. He seems to be out of the loop a lot. And I think that is an issue that the Democrats could have exploited better, to point out that the problem is he has deferred decision-making to other people, and he's not really in charge. I don't think they've hit that issue hard enough. But at the end of the day, people forget this is a Democratic county. It is more Democratic in 2011 than it was in 2007, when Ballard did win. So he won with a very favorable turnout for the Republican Party, where a number of individuals stayed home. I don't see that happening in 2011. But Kennedy is going to run below the baseline for the county. Again, the baseline is when people go to vote, they do not know the candidate. They tend to vote their party. So the baseline in Marion County, on those lower profile races where people don't know the candidate, is anywhere from 10 points to 20 points. And she's going to run behind the baseline. The at-large candidates are going to run better. I don't think she's going to run far enough behind the baseline that Ballard's going to be able to win. So, but it's going to be close. The mayor's race is definitely going to be close.
No, but, okay, so he's kind of absent a little bit as mayor, but we've had great presidents that have kind of done that. I mean, George W. Bush. Okay, well, maybe that's not such a good example. You have just heard the prognostications here from Civil Discourse Now, civilly discussed and placed into the public domain, the predictions, and you've got a majority... 18
to 11, Democrat versus Republican.
So we will review these, and I'm sure the bookies already have access to this program. They've hacked into a computer someplace. And we'll see what happens on Election Day. Next week we've got candidates coming on. Who's coming on next week?
Angel Rivera. We have Sahara Williams and Michael Kauscher. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce that last name. All 3 Republicans. So we're hoping to get some Democrats too. So
we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in or turning on or however you do it on the internet. I'm Mark Small, Paul Ogden. Take care.